Just going to start the recording here, just in case I do end up throwing this up on YouTube, as I know there's a bit of Twitch lag today, so it might be able to save the VOD in much better condition if I do it that way. So it is a Zerg vs Zerg between Liquid, Snute, and Winckel guys down here. Winckel, our challenger, against the most consistent foreigner, I would say, of all time at this point. I think, you know, obviously Stefano's kind of had probably higher peak performances, especially back in his heyday. And Stefano, you know, with his recent WESG run, his DreamHack Valencia run last year, is kind of still carrying on his legacy. But if it wasn't for that, I think Snute definitely would have surpassed him in terms of just overall general badassery, because Snute has been playing so well since late 2012 when he won his first big tournament. I remember it was the One Nation of Gamers Invitational. And he absolutely destroyed that tournament. It was like $5,000 or something for first place. Beat a whole bunch of Koreans. So yeah, really well played by him. And ever since then, he just went from one height to another. He does have dips in performance, takes it really hard. He's a very serious player, but always comes back fighting. So anyway, looking at the opening, Snute has opened up here with a gas pool hatch, a very safe opening build order. And not only that, notice he's saved a lot of lava here as well. So he could actually, if he saw early Zerglings coming, he could have built a lot of Zerglings very early on to defend. Looks like, though, seeing no early Zerglings, he will just build an Overlord after those first two Zerglings and do that. Winckel, on the other side of things, has also opened up with a pool gas hatch. His Zergling speed, though, is about 10 seconds behind. So if there ends up being a Zergling skirmish on the map right around that 3 minute 10, 3 minute 15 mark, Snute's Zerglings will get the upper hand. So that's going to give him a very small 10-second window to potentially gain a better position on the map, especially if they go into Ling Bane wars. That could be very important. Notice Snute's pulled 2 miners off gas to fully saturate the minerals and only now putting them back on. So Snute not banking up a lot of gas, whereas Winckel is. So Winckel's going to have a lot more gas banked for fast tech, for fast banelings, for that sort of stuff. Snute's just going to poke on in here, sees the hatchery, doesn't see any drones. He still wants a bit more information. If he can spot these drones rallying out, that's going to be really good for Snute. It's going to give him peace of mind. He does have 6 Zerglings here, and now he does see drones there. So Snute knows that he is up against a more standard play. There's not a crazy all-in attack coming out from Winckel, unless those are fake drones. And behind this, Snute will be dropping the Baneling Nest and a few more Zerglings. He's going to keep skirmishing here, looks for an angle, but Winckel so far kills the Zergling for free, does drop his own Baneling Nest, and is looking good. Winckel already up 4 drones right now. Snute's going to come into the main base and look for a scout. Sees more drones rallying out. Snute just really wanted to be sure that Winckel wasn't doing any sort of big attack. Meanwhile, Snute himself banking up a lot of Zerglings. Snute is down 7 workers right now. Already a Roach Warren down for Winckel. Winckel, with that drone advantage, and with Banelings and Roaches, will be able to hit a super strong timing. The question is, though, can he actually survive up until that point? Snute is just going to hit a big Ling Bane pressure here. 2 Banelings are morphing. Great Queen positioning there is going to buy a lot of time. Nice Zergling flank from behind as well. Winckel so far with a very good defense, only losing the Queen. More Zerglings are coming out, and the other Queen does come down to the low ground. So a good hold so far by Winckel, but the Banelings are coming in. Needs to focus fire with that Queen. The Queen focus fire doesn't actually hit the mark just yet. One Baneling goes down. The other Baneling, it's still being frustrating to deal with. Finally, Winckel cleans that up, and he maintains a 2 drone advantage at the end of that and goes straight into Roach production. Snute here is actually down 2 workers right now. He's building a few more drones, but he's stuck on Ling Bane tech up against Roach and Baneling tech. So I think Winckel actually has a nice little edge. Of course, losing that Queen does limit his production. So he's not, you know, just automatically going to win the game, but there is going to be a potentially very frightening Roach Baneling push coming out of Snute. Neither player going for a third until just now. Snute sends that drone down towards that third. No sign of a third on the way for Winckel. Winckel just building lots of roaches right now. These Zerglings do headbutt in. 4 Zerglings for a Baneling. Not too bad a trade for Winckel, but not the best one either. The roaches are shown. Snute now knows he's up against a 2-base roach play. Look at this. His Zergling comes in to check the third. He says, whoa, there's no third. You've got roaches. Oh, crap. I need to build units. I need to build units right now. And he's building more and more Zerglings. And notice Snute, he wants to take a trade on Winckel's side of the map. He wants to counterattack or do something because his Roach Warren is so far away and he can't fight Roach Baneling efficiently with just Zergling Baneling of his own. He's trying to put down a Spine Crawler desperately. I think Snute really needs to counterattack. Actually, there's no Banelings morphed right now for Winckel, so Snute still has a window to maybe engage this before those Banelings get in, but Looks like he's just going to go purely defensive. He's going to rely on his own Banelings, Spine, and Queens to focus down the Banelings of Winckel, and then let his Zerglings come to bear. Winckel's real job here is not to lose his units until after his Banelings get in the fray, but a nice surround by Snute. He's going to catch a few of these roaches. The Banelings go forward, but the Banelings of Winckel do join the fray. They do take a nice little trade. These Queens are a little bit off creep right now. Snute is in trouble, but the Banelings coming in from Winckel are going to take down the Spine. No, a great transfuse at the last second. The Spine does stand, focuses down the Spine, does Winckel, but the Zerglings come in from Snute. Such patient play, surrounds these roaches and manages to overwhelm them. Winckel's reinforce was a little bit too slow. If he just had a few more Banelings there, Snute would not have been able to overwhelm that, but Winckel's reinforcements a little bit behind, and only now is Winckel going to go down to take that third base. So a fantastic hold there by Snute, showing great micro and patience in the calm. You can tell I'm a lower level player than Snute because I'm like, he's got a counter attack. He can't fight roaches and Banelings. And it's like, oh wait, Snute knows how to micro really well. Okay, Snute knows what he's doing. Look at these. Oh wow, great Zergling splits. There are going to be 1 or 2 decent Baneling detonations, but a few really bad Baneling detonations as well. The third base goes down, no cancel. Winckel's desperately trying to hang on here. No more Banelings are morphed. And Snute here with the superior economy, superior production just rolling over the top. He's worried about that Baneling though. He knows that's getting close to finishing. And Snute's just going to back off. Still no more drones on the way for Snute just yet. This is such a small map, and Snute knows he's up 3 hatchery production to 2. If he can just keep pushing, it's going to be very hard for Winckel to deal with it. I mean, just look at the supply. Snute has a very nice lead right now. Just gonna kind of meander his way around here. His Zerglings, I don't know if that's the right word, man. He's gonna roam around here. Oh, he really wants to set up these Banelings, but there's another Baneling coming in for Winckel right now. Snute needs to focus down those Banelings. Oh, the Baneling on the north almost gets a money hit. The roaches need to focus fire. Snute does focus fire on that. The Zerglings trying to evade these Banelings. Winckel's Banelings zoning really well, so even though Winckel's way outnumbered, he managed to kill a lot of Snute's stuff, but Snute still ends up having 5 roaches and about 15 Zerglings left at the end of that. Winckel taking a valiant last stand here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Snute just so solid here. He even squeezed in 1 or 2 more drones behind this. He's up 4 workers, up that hatchery, and he's just taking good trades over and over again. Looking at that units lost tab, we can see the efficiency of Snute there. 3,800 minerals lost to the 5,000 of Winckel. So even after those openings did favor Winckel just a little bit, Snute here is definitely in the lead. We can just see that his micro, his choice of engagements is so good. His Baneling micro especially was fantastic. Bile is dodged by Winckel. Winckel looks like he will hang on against this attack for now. Snute can't lose these Ravages. He's got to be careful, but here comes the reinforce. 7, 8 more roaches, a few more Zerglings. Snute's just going to keep engaging over and over. Those Ravages just pulling back there. Winckel tried to focus it down, couldn't quite get it. Once again, the Baneling is going to morph just a little bit too late to the party, and Winckel is getting overwhelmed. Only 4 roaches left. The Lings, the roaches, climbing on top of everything. The Queen falls down, and it looks like Snute is going to take out Winckel in game number 1. GG, well played. Nicely done. All right. So very well played there by Snute in game number 1. This is a best of 7, guys. So we are going to be going into map number 2. Let me check. What was map number 2? Map number 2 is Abyssal Reef. This is Snute's pick. Interesting choice. Abyssal Reef is a map where it's actually a bit awkward to push across. And there's a lot of really good defensive areas. So I do think it kind of favors the way Snute likes to play quite a bit. I definitely think Snute can thrive in this format. Alright, we're going to get both players in for game number 2. Abyssal. I like to play Winckel the way Winckel played there. I do think if he rallied more Ling Bane and had more Banelings morphing, maybe if he detonated all his Banelings on the Spine at the exact same time so the transfuse couldn't go down, then maybe he would have been able to trade a lot better. Maybe not kill Snute, but trade a lot better, kill some Queens, and that would have changed everything. Alright, let me check the boys are ready. Good luck, have fun, go, go. They are ready. Good luck, have fun, guys. We are going to game number 2 on Abyssal Reef. Now, what's really interesting about that last game is Snute actually went really aggressive, and I think that was playing to the map. It was Paladino, it was Winckel's map choice. He said, there's a lot of options, there's a lot of things. Notice how early on he was really on top of scouting with those first Zerglings. He not only scouted the drones in the natural, but he then went into the main base and scouted out there. So he was super on top of scouting, and then he said, even after that scouting, I'm still going to push you with a big Ling Bane pressure, because that's going to force you to be honest. It's going to force us to engage mechanically with micro, and I think that if I do that, it's going to stop you from surprising me. Whereas if I just sit back on such a small map, you could always blindside me with a push. It'll get across the map without me having time to prepare. and I will just get knocked out. So I think on this map, he will have a very different plan, as it is much easier to defend over here. His name is Liquid Snute. That intro is like the most jagged camera movements. And his opponent's pointing down here on the bottom right-hand side. Our challenger, the young Zerg guy who's coming in here, kicking some, wanting to kick some ass. He said he didn't really expect himself to win, but he's going to try his absolute hardest anyway. It is Winckel. Looks like Winckel's going to be opening up with a nice fast hatchery first. So is Snute. Both players being confident on Abyssal. Of course, when you do rush each other on this map, these Zerglings need to kind of path like this. Zwoop, zwoop, zwoop. That's the pathing sound into your opponent's natural. So later on as well, this choke point, even once those rocks are down, is a very easy area to defend. It's hard to thrust up here with a big roach attack. What's interesting though is where do players take their third bases? And I was going to say a lot of players actually take this front base because the third base can get counterattacked through the back door. But interestingly enough, playing to this this somewhat greedy map, this somewhat defensive map, Winckel goes absolutely mad, goes 3 hatchery into gas and then spawning pool. Mega greedy opening. Meanwhile, Snute just going up with a hatch gas pool. Now, I really think this is a decent opening. However, it can be really hard against someone as good as Snute to actually use the lava advantage you get off this. What we see is if Winckel can out-micro Snute a little bit, or if Snute makes 1 or 2 small slip-ups and loses any tempo on the map, Winckel is going to have the ability to either drone his third really hard with his 3 hatcheries of lava, or just go all-out aggressive with crazy waves of aggression. Often it's crazy waves of aggression and then big rounds of drones behind it. The problem for Winckel is going to be, can he get to that point? What we see in the early stage is you'll notice Snute was actually slightly ahead in workers early on. You can see his queens are earlier. So he's going to have faster lava injects, faster Zergling speed. This allows Snute to get tempo on the map. He gets to be the aggressor early on. He's just going to have a little bit less stuff overall to work with and definitely less lava. So as long as Snute controls everything right, he should be able to take a later third and still be even with Winckel. It's just if he slips up at all, loses control of the pace of the game, suddenly everything will shift terribly. So he's seen the third base now. He knows it's a 3 hatchery before pool. He saw the creep on the natural as well. He's going to be coming across with a 6 Zergling pressure here. Going to be trying to pressure that third. Now, what does Winckel have to defend this? Winckel does have a queen in the main and natural about to pop out. Snute going to bypass that drone on the third and just going to go straight towards this natural. Snute spots the Baneling nest. He sees that and he knows what he's up against. Snute not going to overcommit here. That's probably the most common mistake players make against 3H before pool. But oh, Winckel with the mind games cancels the Baneling nest, drops an evolution chamber. Might actually go for a fast melee. Snute's already got Zergling speed though. He's going to come back and he's going to see this. Snute sees the Evo chamber. He says, goodbye mind games. You should have put that Evo chamber in the back of your base. So now Snute knows exactly what's going on. Kills 4 Zerglings for 1 there. Snute's got his own Baneling nest going down. It looks like it is going to be a Roach Warren as well behind that Evo chamber. Now, Winckel here, his third base is super exposed. It's going to be hard to defend that with roaches, but once this creep is here, he can probably drop like another Evo chamber, put like a queen there, and that will block him from Zergling aggression. The question is, can he judge how much Snute's going to commit to aggression? Winckel doesn't have too much he can scout with right now. He skipped Zergling speed. He's going for +1 range. He doesn't have any fighting units out right now. He's just got 6 Zerglings, and look at his vision. How does he tell when Zerglings are flooding out? It's really hard. He's trying to watch these exits, but that's going to be a very late warning system. So Winckel's just choosing to play a little bit greedy here, and he's just like building a single roach right now. Luckily for him, Snute is defending. So Winckel, he said he was going to play, you know, around the fact that Snute's a very defensive player, and it looks like it's working for him so far. We can see this fast third hatch kicking in 44 drones to 38. He's got +1 on the way. He's got a lair about to finish. He's got extra gases kicking in. He's going to be able to go for roach speed and then just like mass a sick roach speed +1 timing. Snute, though, on the other side, is already committing to a lot of roaches. 10 roaches, mass Zerglings already in production. No tech, no upgrades, no follow-up. And oh, Winckel's upgrading right now. Winckel's building drones. He's building 8 drones. He's going so greedy. He has no idea if Snute's droning that third or not. Or he just is assuming Snute's teching up, but he's only going to get his first warning right now. Winckel sees roaches coming out, and he's got to feel his heart just sink right now and go, oh no, I think I droned too much. I've got 12 drones on my third, upgrades and a lair versus a guy who's on hatch tech with no workers on his third base. Snute here, going to defend these slow Zerglings with some nice micro. Will lose that queen, I think. No, very good hold there. He's breaking down these rocks. He's opening up this attack path. If Winckel holds this, he will win the game. The thing is, he's down 20 army supply right now. He's only got 5 roaches out. He's got 10 more about to pop. I think he needs to abandon this third base. I don't think he can defend this, but Winckel, he's got a spine going up in the back. He's going to lose that queen very early. Oh, the Zergling wraparound is good. The corrosive bile in the pack of roaches does manage to hit 2 roaches. Winckel, though, he's got roach speed. He's got +1. These Zerglings are losing value, but I think there might just be a little bit too much for Snute. He's getting on top of these roaches before they can group up. The spine crawler finishes just seconds too late. It's already on half-life, and it looks like the supply is still so close, but I think Snute is just on top of Winckel. If Winckel abandoned this third, I think he had a better chance. He needed to buy just a little bit more time. He's got so many roaches still in production. The problem is so many of these roaches are going to pop out. And look at that, corrosive bile even going to cancel some of those eggs. Winckel has to cancel a whole bunch of those roaches. He's back down 30 army supply. These roaches going to have to try to use the positioning as best they can. Drones being pulled into the fight. A good choice there by Winckel. There we go. Roaches purposefully engaging the Zerglings, knowing that he can two-shot Zerglings with his +1 attack. But these corrosive biles just continue to land on the roaches. Looks like Winckel is going to hold here, but a lot of drones did just go down. 22 workers in total have been killed. Winckel, though, he's still got the better upgrades. If he can crush these Ravagers, then he will still be in a position which might be salvageable. Those corrosive biles, though, continuing to cover Snute's retreat. If Snute can save those Ravagers, it's going to be massive. He's still threatening with the Zerglings. And Snute here manages to get these valuable units home, which is so important right now. Because remember, Snute does not have upgrades. He's only just getting his Evo chamber up now. He doesn't have a massive drone count. He's just adding a few more workers now. And there is a huge roach speed +1 counterattack coming across the map. But Snute knows it's going to be hard to stop this front on. So his Zergling's preparing for a huge counterattack. He recognized that Winckel only really has one big strong push. If he just bypasses that, he can force an almost base trade sort of situation here. A lot of those Zerglings attacking the Evos and the Roach Warren, but Winckel, good micro, gets on top. Good micro, gets on top of those Roaches popping out. Great defense of this choke point. This is the choke point I was talking about earlier. It's so hard to push up there. Winckel's going to need to go around right now. And oh no, he queued up an A move. His units are accidentally pathing in the wrong direction. He split up his roaches. He didn't mean to do this. This is a mistake by Winckel, but Snute actually splits up as well, so he's taking an okay trade. Winckel lost so many drones in his natural just then. He's down to 19 workers behind this. This is his one and only push. He's taking a decent trade on the right-hand side, but the Zerglings are about to come in from behind. Snute says, "You can't leave!" Gets on top of those roaches, and Snute here with just some masterful positioning. Fantastic Zerg vs. Zerg. Looks like he is going to hold the push. He's at 44 drones versus 19. Every second that goes by, he is way outproducing Winckel. Winckel's natural completely bare. He's transferring workers down from the main. He's got this one last little pack of roaches, desperate to use their tech advantage to win, but there's just too many units out for Snute. Snute realized as long as he had the numbers, the upgrades would not matter. Hangs on there and does it really well. GG, well played. That was close. That was actually really close. I think if Snute... I really do think Snute's attack there was like a good... Once again, it's like, I'm just going to attack you to make sure you don't do anything too crazy. And if Winckel built like 5 or 6 less drones, if Winckel, even with that crazy drone count, maybe had that spine up slightly faster, if he kind of moved his roaches back and forwards between his natural and third, buying time and let his numbers group up, I think maybe he could have actually held on there. And the thing is, if you get up that critical mass of roaches, even if you lose your third... Your opponent doesn't have +1. They don't have roach speed. You can start +2. Just rebuild your third. You can counterattack, but not really commit. And your opponent has to commit to so many of these pleb tier units to try to hang on. So didn't quite work out there for Winckel. But once again, I feel like there's a lot of potential in the way he's playing, and he is getting these nice little edges. Oh wow, so many people are watching this. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm getting a lot of people telling me that there are some frame drops. I know, guys, unfortunately, it's a Twitch issue. I've tried multiple servers. I've lowered my quality to about half. There's just nothing I can do, unfortunately. I've done so many different things. I talked to a bunch of people. Other streamers have been having the same problems today, unfortunately. So I do apologize for the lag, guys. I'm recording this locally as well, so I will be able to... put it up that way. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I basically sat here this morning before the stream. It wouldn't go live on the Sydney server at all. I was like streaming, my output was crisp, it was clear, just wasn't showing up as live. So I swapped to the LA server, dropping frames like a madman. I swapped to the Singapore server, dropping frames like a madman. I changed my stream key, I lowered my bitrate, I lowered my frames from 60 to 30 frames a second. Like, And it's just staying solid at like 38%. 39% frames dropped. So I really apologize. I know there's like these big sections where it just goes and dies a little bit. I do apologize for that. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do. After the show match, I might try and do something about it, but after trying so many different things, I'm pretty sure it's just on Twitch to try and fix things up. I do think I got hosted by someone awesome. I'm not sure who. Can you guys... Base Trade has hosted us. So I'm guessing that was from Base Trade. I didn't see who was streaming right before. Let me know where all you guys came from so I can say a massive thank you. And I will get that going. Okay, go Zerg. Sorry for wait, guys. Good luck, have fun. Alright guys, so Snute is up 2-0. We are going into game number 3 on Honor Grounds. It is a best of 7 show match for 50 USD. So far, Winckel putting up a really good fight. But not quite able to snatch some maps off Snute. But we're going into a 4-player map. A map with a little bit more randomness. So far, Winckel's been choosing Paladino, the smallest map in the pool. Now Honor Grounds, this big random 4-player map. So I have no idea what he's going to bring out here, but there's a lot of crazy gambles that are possibilities. So let's dive on into game here, and let's take a look. Spawning down here in the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player. It is Liquid Snute. And spawning up here in the top right-hand side, our blue Zerg player, guys. It is Winckel. Yeah, it does make me... It was Base Trade that hosted us. Thank you so much, Base Trade, Rifkin, and everybody, Rifkin, Zombie Grub, and everyone else who casts on Base Trade. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you. Yeah, so this is just a little show match, which we're doing. It's 2-0 at the moment, guys. Let me remember how to use the score. Why isn't it coming up? That's weird. Let's change my hotkeys, guys. I think I gotta go back to standard. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. There we go. And it is... Nope. That one. There we go. I remembered how to use the score, but I'm such a bad observer. I suck at it so much. Alright, guys. So it looks like Snute's going to be opening up with a very fast gas and pool. Not very fast, sorry. A regular gas and pool. And it looks like, once again, Winckel doing the same. So this is a matchup of their builds in game number 1. Winckel going to be going for that hatchery, but he's down 1 less drone. So Snute squeezed 1 more drone in, yet his hatchery time is only 2 seconds behind. Just a testament to how good Snute is at building drones, I guess. Yeah, Snute here has just been nice and efficient with this. So, of course, Winckel now overtakes and gets up 2 drones, actually. So maybe I read that wrong. Commentary of the gods! Of course, let's check out the scouting, guys. So, unfortunately, I just screwed up my hotkeys by going back to standard hotkeys because they're not actually standard hotkeys. So let me just fix that up. There we go. So Winckel has scouted from here, but he actually has okay, so he didn't even check the natural fully, and he's going straight towards the 3rd because he wants to see Zerglings coming out. So notice this Overlord. He's like, I want to see if there's Zerglings coming. So he's going to see these 2 Zerglings. No, Snute actually went left. Okay, so Snute hasn't scouted his Overlord either, maybe, or... That's weird. Oh, he's hiding these 2 Zerglings. Ah, okay, cool. Okay, so Snute's going to play very similarly to last game. Winckel is also going to... They're both trying to avoid each other. This is so funny. Both Zerglings took the same path to try and hide from each other's vision. So now they're going to have a little skirmish over here for position. Both players going for a fast Baneley nest. Both players building Zerglings off just 18 or 19 workers. So neither of them actually knows exactly what the opponent's build is until right now. Winckel knows, hey, that's a later hatchery than normal. Snute, though, has no idea what the exact opening is, except from that Zergling timing, which makes him say, okay, it's probably a pull first. So both players are going to be trying to put the pressure on with the Ling Bane to keep their opponent honest. Trying to get the Banelings morphing on the opponent's side of the map to kind of get that tempo going. But Snute here, a little bit unsure about what's going on, goes in, doesn't see the Zerglings pulling up for Winckel. Meanwhile, his own Zerglings at home. Winckel already is not going to be morphing those Banelings. It's actually Snute who starts morphing Banelings first. Winckel now starts morphing his Banelings on the other side as well. It's going to be a real skirmish for position here, but Winckel is not able to stop that Baneling morph. His Zerglings, though, going to make the smart call, say, I'm not going to fight your Banelings. I'm just going to run past, meet up with my Banelings, and fight on your side of the map. Meanwhile, these 2 Banelings get massive connections. Great defense by Winckel while getting on top of the natural of Snute. Snute's in a lot of trouble right now. Does get a nice Baneling there. Takes out 4 Zerglings. That's a good trade. That Baneling from Winckel, unfortunately, wasted, though. Great target fire here by Snute as well. Those Zerglings do target down that Baneling, but once again, 4 Zerglings go down, and Snute is actually going to lose his natural hatchery. He doesn't have a transfuse just yet. His Zerglings are going down. Wow, Snute's reset to 1 base right now. This is really bad for Snute. Winckel here grabs a big edge in this early fighting. I love the way he bypassed Snute's Banelings. Snute Snute was being a little bit greedy, didn't make any defensive banelings behind that. He was relying on Winckel trying to defend the attack. Winckel went straight past it and just avoided it. Oh, these banelings here for Snute are a little bit out of position. Winckel's going to go for the YOLO. He's just going to dive on past. Oh, a good baneling detonation there by Snute, though. Winckel with a nice spread, but his Zerglings are now outnumbered. I think he needs to get out of here. Yeah, good defense by Snute there. Really helps equalize the army count. And I think Winckel just gave up a little bit of that tempo by getting just a tiny bit over eager. Maybe he should have run right into the main base, but looks like Snute's defense a little bit too solid. Right now, Winckel has not used this hatchery to drone up. He's trying to keep using it aggressively. He's making an evolution chamber behind this, but Snute back on the offensive position, looking for a little bit of damage. Winckel trying to target down those banelings. Oh no, he's got to be careful. 3. Okay, so it ended up being 5 Zerglings for a baneling. Not a great trade there for Winckel. Good split offs though. His micro is solid right now. But Snute keeping the aggressive position. Snute is up in supply. His hatchery is almost rebuilt, so that early disadvantage is about to disappear. Nice baneling detonations here by Snute. And he's not looking to kill. He's just taking a good trade, looking to take good trades, and that is exactly what he is doing right now. Snute's going to dive in. These Zerglings, oh my gosh, they might actually be able to get that queen because more banelings are just putting so much pressure up. Winckel has to focus on the front. That queen in the back goes down to those Zerglings. These banelings of Snute keeping up the pressure, and because there's so many areas where Winckel needs to micro at once, he's actually starting to fall further and further behind in these trades, I think. I say that, and then the units lost is almost identical. Winckel's actually dealing with the pressure quite well right now, but he's got to be careful. There we go. Great pick off there by Winckel. In the work account, we see both players are reasonably evil. What the hell? My mouth words are on point. Zergling's coming in for a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit of a trade. Going to try and surround that queen, but the baneling's finished for Snute. Winckel needs to retreat. Ooh, Snute's defense is so good, man. A couple banelings here are going to come up for Winckel. Nice detonation, though. That's sick. Winckel takes these couple of really good trades, and he's got Carapace actually about to finish right now. Another good trade there for Winckel. He's up 8 workers. He's got Carapace on the way. Snute is getting the 3rd hatchery. That's the one advantage he's going for. How many queens have we got for Snute? We've got 3 queens for Snute. He's going to start shooing back the Overlord. So these queens are the big, strong defender's advantage that Snute has. But once Carapace kicks in, I think Winckel's going to be in a very powerful position. Winckel's continuing to drone quite hard. He just needs to not get over eager on that droning, because Snute is actually committing to a lot of Ling Bane right now. These Zerglings up there are focusing down those banelings. I don't know, are they going to stop that? He loses all of his aggressive Zerglings, does Winckel. There's more banelings here. Winckel's only got 2 banelings. He's morphing a few more, but he needs to hang on. Great baneling detonation for Snute. Oh, man. He just takes a fantastic trade. He's up a couple of army supply right now, which is a lot when it comes to Ling Bane versus Ling Bane. The queen, he's going for the surround. It looks like he's going to get it. Those drones are going to be forced off the line. They're going to have to join the engagement. A couple of banelings of Winckel are making their way back in here to help defend. A single baneling, though, looking very deadly right now. There's a Zergling and a baneling can do a lot of damage to these drones. Oh, this single Zergling gets 1 drone kill, gets a 2nd drone kill, doesn't get the 3rd, but still a very nice little pickup for Snute. Snute has droned behind this. He's up to 32 workers. Winckel was just a little bit too heavy on the drones there. Snute's counterattack. Whoa, sorry guys, I forgot to turn off scrolling. Snute's counterattack there, totally equalized. Great control. Is he ready though for the backswing? This is one of those games where, hey, he attacks, he does lots of damage. The other guy attacks, he does lots of damage. And Carapace is about to finish, so it is Winckel's turn right now. He's got 18 Zerglings versus 13. He's got banelings. Only 3 banelings morphing for Snute. Snute needs to use his queens to anchor his defense very well. It's Carapace versus no Carapace. Winckel here can take the advantage in these trades. He's just got to be careful of the banelings. Snute here with some very nice control. More banelings of Winckel coming in though. Ooh, gets a money hit. A lot of Snute Zerglings go down. The one more baneling there doesn't really get a very good hit. Snute's still got banelings alive. He's still taking decent defense. He needs to hang on right now. He's way up in workers. He's got the 3rd base. Winckel is almost all in right now. He needs to do damage. All Snute needs to do is buy time, and he is doing it fantastically. Takes down some of those morphing banelings. His own extra banelings are getting close to morphing. Winckel gonna dive into that main base. His reinforcements continuing to rally on in. Can he find the opening? No, Snute just has too many Zerglings. Gets on top of that, surrounds it, and shuts it down. Winckel struggling here, running out of steam. And it looks like Snute has weathered the storm. 1 queen will get caught out on the edge of creep, but Snute's just a little bit too far ahead. Carapace won't make up for this army supply deficit, for this extra production that Snute has. Winckel just can't find an even Zergling versus Zergling engagement. It's always, if he has the Zergling advantage, there's banelings there. If he finds no banelings, there's more Zerglings from Snute than he has Zerglings, so the Carapace can't make up that difference. We see here, Winckel finds an okay Zergling versus Zergling trade, but even then, Snoot's okay to replenish those units. Winckel cannot. Winckel still no third base. Banelings versus Banelings. Neither one gets any big detonations. Oh, Snute does take down most of the Banelings of Winckel. He's coming in here. He's looking relentless. Does get a good detonation there, does Winckel. Takes down a few Zerglings, but if these Banelings get into his middle line, he is screwed. Lots of Banelings coming in. Good micro from Winckel, but Snute might just have the numbers right now. Yeah, it looks like Snute manages to micro both little skirmishes there at once very well. The Banelings doing super well from Snute. He's now on top of the bases. He knows it's just a 2-base Winckel. He knows there's no transition. He sees no lair. And looks like, yeah, that Baneling takes out those last few units. More and more Banelings coming in. Snute, ooh, those 3 Banelings didn't really get the value, but Snute's just going to keep rallying across. His injects are good back home. Look at his money. He's spending his money constantly. He's got a few workers even on his third base. He's on top of the worker line now. Winckel's last little bit of economy is going to go down. Winckel says, the nerves! Tongue-faced GG, well played. He knows he had a good position after getting that hatchery. That always hurts. When you're in that great position and then things start to fall apart just a little bit like that. Oh, we've all been there. We've all been there. I think everyone has experienced that position where you're like, I'm way ahead. All right, guys, Snute's asking for a 2-minute bait break. No doubt has to hit up the toilet. Of course, it is a 3-0 lead for Snute so far. Only one more game to nab the 50 USD. These have actually been good aggressive games from Winckel. Just a few too many drones in most of these games. I'm giving Winckel a little tip. I'm like, just had a few too many drones. He was saying himself, I don't know if it's about this game or the previous game, where he said, dang, those 8 greedy drones, just a little bit too much. I believe in you taking this next game. Just thank you. Kind of feels like I threw the last 2 games by just one decision. No problem, man. That's ZvZ. Gotta play super tight throughout. Good luck in the next one. Alright guys, so the next map, I'm going to get it hosted up. It is going to be... So the last one was... Oh, I think I hosted up the wrong map. I just hosted up... I hosted up Honor Grounds just then. And I somehow missed some of the other maps. Okay, so I did, because I'm an idiot, and neither of them called me on it, funnily enough. So we did the first 2, Paladino and Abyssal, but then we did Honor Grounds, which was Winckel's pick. So now we'll do Snute's, which is Belshire. Belshire next. I'm an idiot. Best, most professional host of Showmatch of all time, guys. Looks like the frame drops are still consistent. Yep. Sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's Twitch, yo. Can I show you guys my library? It's mostly dots. I can show you Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. Good book. Good book. Alright, these guys are good. They are ready. Go, go. Good luck. Have fun, boys and girls. This could potentially be the final map of the show match. Snute running a masterclass here on Zerg vs. Zerg. He is up 3-0. Whoops, I forgot to... Winckel, okay? Good luck, good luck. Sorry. One person says ready and I'm just like, go. I'm so terrible at running tournaments or show matches or anything. I suck. Anyway, guys, let's hop into map. Here we are, game number 4. Let's bring up that scoreboard. And it is, of course, going to be spawning down here in the bottom right-hand side of Belshire Vestige. Our blue Zerg player. It is Liquid Snute. And spawning up here in the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player. It is Winckel. Winckel. Winckel's been playing really well so far. For you guys who weren't here at the start of the show match, I can I can quickly show you guys. Just show you guys this guy. Look how handsome this guy is. That's just not fair. Look at that guy. He's too busy just like sitting on park benches having black and white photos taken of himself to practice. Just kidding, of course. He's actually been playing really well though. I think Winckel's doing pretty damn well. No problem. A little bit of lag here, guys. We will just hop out of game for a moment and take a look at that. Yeah, it's nothing to do with my internet, guys. It's just Twitch. Nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. After the show match, I will try resetting. I'll see if the Sydney server is working again, because the Sydney server never does this, no matter what for me, because I live right next to it. But occasionally, I've tried all the different Twitch servers, dropped my quality in half, and it's still lagging pretty hard. So I do apologize, guys, for the lags.
Game resumed.
Apparently, as the ref, I need to resume. Forgot about that. There we go, guys. Good luck. Have fun. The players are in the match. This is game number 4, guys. It could potentially be over in just a moment. Winckel here is going to be going for a gas pool hatch. Everyone's playing those conservative safe openings today. But, oh, wait. What? Snute has finally just gone back to a hatch first. He's up 3-0. He's been playing really safe so far. I think this game, he knows it's a small 2-player map. His Overlord will spot any early Zerglings very early. It'll get to the hatchery very early as well. So he probably feels safe just relying on that Overlord scout to tell him if he needs to build a lot of Zerglings and really try and defend any sort of one-base aggression. Going to be interesting to see if Winckel plays this just with a few more drones or goes for that same sort of Ling Bane aggression he did last game. That can hit a very nice timing against a hatch first player, because your Banelings will get out before theirs. You can see Zergling speed is already about 15 seconds ahead of Snute's. Snute has pulled 2 guys off gas, so he's going to be very mineral focused. Probably wants to go for a nice early 3rd hatchery to get up more lava, more Zerglings, those things which can give him more production, more tempo, and more ability to control the map. Something Snute showed that he's very good at. Snute does spot the hatchery. He says, okay, yeah, it's just a pull first. I've seen 2 Zerglings coming out, and you can see Snute here. He's going to have this perfect Overlord spread. 1 there. And he's going to put 1 all the way at the 3rd. That's actually an interesting decision. Because he's actually going to not have vision of a narrow corridor from here, where Zerglings could slip out without him seeing them. So if he doesn't adjust that path, I'm actually going to be super critical and say Snute's made a mistake there. Because that's actually very risky to have any sort of vision outside your opponent's base where they can sneak on out. And even the best players do make mistakes like that. Winckel is going to retreat across the map. Snute Zerglings are chasing him. Snute's gone for a pretty fast Baneling nest behind this. No 3rd hatchery down, so Snute getting a 3rd queen as well. Wants to play quite conservatively. He's splitting 1 Zergling off to try and deny any potential 3rd base. Meanwhile, these Zerglings are hiding in position to morph forward Banelings. Meanwhile, once again, Winckel's going for a Roach Warren and a Baneling nest. And this is a little bit dicey. We mentioned this in game 1, how if your opponent does a big Ling Bane pressure, it can be hard to defend if you're going for both. But it will offer him a nice fast Roach Baneling attack. The thing is, in game number 1, the problem Winckel had was that Snute scouted everything. Even though his Ling Bane pressure was denied, he responded very well to the pressure. Even though it was a tiny rush distance, he defended with just Ling Bane Queen and a Spine Crawler. And he kind of detonated all of Winckel's Banelings. And once Winckel's Banelings ran out, he just wasn't able to push anymore. The Zerglings from Snute came in, wrapped around his roaches, and killed everything. But this time, Winckel's gone straight into 10 roaches. There's been no Ling Bane pressure. Snute's way up in workers, but Snute, having spotted that Roach Warren, he immediately dropped his own Roach Warren at home. So he's in a much better position this time. These roaches are going to take a lot longer to get across the map. And Snute here, notice he's banking up a lot of Overlords, a lot of free supply. He's just going to defend with Roach Sling. Roaches as the core. He's not going to try and defend with Ling Bane. This is a very different scenario. So Snute barely even going to use this Baneling nest. He's just going to morph a couple of Banelings to stop the flood of Zerglings that will reinforce the roaches of Winckel. Winckel is super all in right now. If he goes for the 3rd base, he'll definitely get that kill, but I think he needs more damage than that, which is why he's going to go towards the natural. It means he needs to do a lot of damage here. If this gets held, Winckel is going to be in big trouble. These roaches of Snute haven't popped just yet. There we go. The roaches are all popping. The transfuse on the queen is good. The Banelings, though, coming in here from Winckel. Winckel needs to keep those Banelings alive, but no, all the Banelings are detonating for Winckel, but they're getting good hits. Snute is getting overrun right now. Snute, yeah, he needs to pull those drones into the engagement. He needs more buffer here. His roaches are holding his queens. All 3 queens came down to the natural, and they're doing a fantastic job. Snute even building extra queens here. He knows that those big, beefy queens will be a decent unit to hang on here. If he can survive for them to hang out. The Zerglings and roaches, though, of Winckel continuing to flood on in. Zerglings reinforcing from Snute's third base. That extra lava coming into play. It looks like Winckel's last few units, a lot of them are dying, and Snute's still up 3 workers right now. It is down to these last few units, but Snute's reinforcement point being right here will help him out a lot. Snute's still up in workers by 2. He manages to hold. His brand new queens pop out of both of these hatcheries. He restarts his injects, and that is a hold. He even snipes down a few of these retreating roaches. Snute here focus fires those 3 roaches. They don't get a chance to get out of there or morph into Ravagers, and that is a big turnaround. Winckel here, banking a lot of resources behind this, doesn't have a 3rd hatchery down. Winckel not quite able to keep up the tempo as well as he would have liked, so a very cute attack from Winckel, but not quite enough. Does no focus down the Ravager of Snute. But Winckel's down 7 supply, equal on workers, way down in army supply though, and Snute has the 3rd hatchery, so Winckel here is going to need to do something fancy. He needs to counterattack or surprise Snute in some way, but Snute's map vision with his overlords is so good. He surrounds these Zerglings, shuts them all down, and that is just massive. That is huge. Winckel says, got some lag. Feels bad, man. Thank you for the games and the opportunity. Love you both, Pig and Snute. What a good sport there. Winckel showed us some pretty fantastic games. As he said at the start, he wasn't really expecting to beat Snute or anything, but a big thanks to Sturmgott for putting up the money for this little show match. Just a little bit of fun there. It's always fun to see a player who doesn't really have as much tournament experience at these big events go up against a titan like Snute, seeing what he can do in the volatile Zerg vs Zerg matchup. So a massive thanks to Winckel for playing. He kicked some ass. And I am just going to see, hey man, what's your PayPal so I can get money sent to you immediately? And would you mind also, if you're not too busy, want to hop on a call for 2 minutes to analyze this Roachbane, analyze one of these games, the Honor Grounds turnaround would be sick. Well, I guess that would be 5 minutes. Okay, so I'll see if Snute's down. If he's not, absolutely no pressure on him to do that. I kind of feel bad asking him because I know Snute is such a busy guy. He plays so many tournaments. Absolutely zero stress. If you don't want to come on. Money is being sent now. Okay, please send him money. So Stormgott's going to send him the money straight away so we don't get double fees. I will see if Snute is down potentially for... Want to watch the Honor Grounds replay very quickly and talk about how you turned that around, because that was a pretty sick turnaround. It was awesome. Snute played really well. Played very, very well. Winckel, so close to snatching that Honor Grounds game. I'm just going to watch the replay quickly and talk about it anyway, even if Snute doesn't want to. Give you guys a little post-game analysis. And we'll see if he responds while I'm doing it. But anyway, let's open up Honor Grounds and we'll look at that quickly. Because as big as the hatchery kill was for Winckel, there's a lot more you need to do to actually close out a game. And it's very easy to make mistakes on the way if your opponent plays intelligently. All right, so Snute actually just said, yeah, he's gonna hop on the call. So I'll get him in the replay. Awesome. Let's see if he picks up. Please work, Skypo. Hey, hey. All right, I can't hear you. Oh, I think I hear something. Maybe. Can you hear me? Can you just type if you can hear me? No worries. Yeah, just configure Skype. Thanks heaps, Snute. I really appreciate you coming on, by the way. There's absolutely no onus on you to do this, but I just think it was such a sick turnaround. So I'll let you get that set up. If you can also just accept my party invite, I'll load up the replay so we can get straight into that and go straight to the point where you lost your hatchery and and then how you kind of put pressure on to while defending to try and come back from that position. Because obviously losing the hatchery, big disadvantage, but I think you played everything pretty well to put all the pressure on him. And then he got just slightly over aggressive, and you kind of managed to hold on, shut it all down, and then put counter pressure on him until your hatchery finished. And you just forced so many positive trades. Even after all that, I think he was ahead, and then he just got slightly too greedy with his over droning. There was a lot of you keeping him in check with your aggression, which was really cool. So let's dive into game. Guys on stream, you can see this. If you guys have any questions, you guys can shout them out at us, but I probably won't answer any until after Snute's off the call, because I don't want to waste too much of Snute's time. Just want to do a very quick little rundown of this game. So we are here in game, guys. This is how the game opened. Both players were trying to hide their Zerglings around the map from each other, trying and probably either get a free scout or some forward Banelings.
Hello.
Hey, what up? How you going, Jens?
Yeah, I'm good. Just had to fix the mic. Like Skype didn't work.
No
as
worries,
well.
man. Do you use Discord much?
Yeah, but I couldn't get it to work with my new mic. Like, it's a little bit complicated to get the things working.
Oh, that's weird.
So now I have to use the old one, but it's fine. It's fine.
That's
all
cool.
right. So let's see what we got here.
It was really funny this map actually, like how your Zerglings both like were trying to hide. Was that specifically to morph Banelings or just to do a bit of a sneaky scout on your opponent? Like I'll go back to show.
This start was very unfortunate for me. Like, I kind of gambled on my reinforcements at home that I would be able to manage with all the hit points on my natural hatchery. Like, I thought it would be okay.
Yep.
But I ended up being in so much trouble. I knew that he had 4 Zerglings out on the map, right? So I knew that this was going to be a very aggressive game from both players. But I just got pretty much out-controlled here in the opening. And I didn't have any Zerglings at home to morph into Banelings either. So,
yep.
So I was in a lot of trouble. If I hadn't come back later on, then this game, like, this opening is usually a loss for me, I think.
Yeah. So just a single pair of Zerglings left at home, so you could morph Banelings right about now, would have probably made a huge difference, right?
Yeah, 2 queens, couple of Banes, and it all should be fine.
And yeah, like when you ran these Zerglings into the Baneling on the ramp, it was like, well,
yeah.
you're relying on
I know, right?
screwing him up at home because you don't have a lot of units to defend, so you want him to like micro frantically at home, and then it's like, well, there goes any aggression that you can put on him.
Yeah, I felt so bad now, especially because the Banelings that were hidden out on the map earlier also showed up. So at this point, I thought I was going to lose the game for sure.
Yep.
It's very hard to come back from a spot like this. You just kind of have to hope that your opponent is overextending in the army lead, and that you maybe come back with a better transition or just having better control. Those are pretty much the only 2 ways you can come back from a situation like this. Having a better build order, like a better transition, or just a good Baneling detonations.
So like, as the aggressor, if you were in his shoes, your main goal would be just to like keep aggressive and mix kind of Zergling, Banelings, and drones, right? Because the one hatchery player can't really keep up. If you just kind of keep on a little bit of aggression but don't overcommit, and you just kind of keep the fighting on that player's side of the map and then just mix drones in behind it, do you think that's the best way to play it?
I'm not too sure. There are many different ways. When you're up a hatchery, you have far more production, but you don't necessarily have the economy to support that production, so it actually kind of evens out.
Right.
So even now, if I'm down a hatchery, the income is still 18 drones for both players, right? So even if the blue Zerg in this situation has a lot of larva, it's actually not possible to spend it all a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it is possible, but if you also morph Banelings and such, it can be a little bit excess in larva.
Yeah,
example.
there'll be a few gaps in your production for sure.
I think so. Yeah. So there are some different ways to approach it. You could try to just hold down the key and try to hammer it home with the superior production. I mean, you will have a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
But you will also be fighting up against queens, maybe a ramp, defensive Banes. So I think the other way you can do it is to use the existing links that you have, the existing Zerglings and Banelings, to just kind of keep your opponent pinned back. Because you should be up a base count, right? So you can use that time to make drones. You can get a evolution chamber like we saw in this game, or you can just grab a third. Any sort of transition should be okay. But pressing the advantages with with more units. It's something you commonly see on a map like Cactus Valley, for example, when it's the triple hatch versus double hatch. Let's say you get to cancel on the third, right?
Yeah.
That's when you see the player with triple hatch and triple queen. In that type of situation, you can usually overpower a 2-base Zerg, but not on 2-base versus 1-base. It's a little bit more difficult.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess it's just the production differences,
Yeah,
right?
it's about the drone count supporting the larva, basically.
So I think at this point he was like way ahead, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Evo Chamber halfway complete. So at this point, I was really banking on this pressure doing quite a bit. I'm without a doubt kind of behind. Even if I do have a third base on the way, I'm really hoping on being able to deal a bit of damage here.
Nice. Those Baneling detonations, that was what you needed, right? I think those 2 Baneling detonations are what probably completely turned this game around, right? If it wasn't for that, he defends here, and he's up a couple workers, and Carapace is about to kick in. So he could, like, you'd have a real trouble dealing with Carapace slings, and he could just take a third and, like, add drones behind a big Carapace sling Bane pressure, right?
Yeah, if I was not able to take down these few drones here, like it didn't seem like that many snipes, but when I first came in there and I saw all the drones, I was so concerned, like, wow, he has so much economy. And at this point, I think I didn't even realize that there was an Evo there. It took me a while to mentally realize that what was happening.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's that moment where it's Zergling
kills,
versus Zergling, and then your Zerglings are just getting killed, and you're like, what?
yeah. If not for those kills, I would be really far behind.
Yeah.
And yeah, after that pressure, I was ahead in drones, and I had the third base also, so I got a little bit of extra production.
Yeah, so it gets kind of desperate for him here because you built that big round of drones, and sexy. Nice defense from you here. Lots of just like spreading your Banelings out. Good focus fire with your Queen on the Banelings as well. And just lots of keeping your Banelings moving around zoning and just not letting them blow up on random things, right? So, yeah, I mean...
All of this is very manageable as long as your opponent is not taking a third, then you can just sit back and defend forever, even if you're down in upgrades.
Yep.
Because you will always have a lot of Banelings, and they usually manage fine. I have 2 gases, so I have a lot of gas coming in for defensive Banelings, and that's a good counter to the Carapace upgrade, if you have the eco to support it.
Winkle's pointed out as well, he only had 2 guys on gas, like, the entire game. So he actually had times where he wanted to morph more Banelings, and he didn't have enough gas, which made it even harder. So if he screwed up 1 or 2, like, there was a few moments where he screwed up his Baneling control, and it was, like, twice as punishing because he couldn't make as many extra Banelings to make up for that. So,
yeah,
interesting
I
point
think I think it's a lot better to be on the mineral side of things. Like, it's better to have a little, too little gas rather than too much, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the most important things in CVC early game is just watching over that gas. If you're playing single gas, double or triple, drones in the gas, that is.
Yeah. And I guess having more gas equals more queens for defense, more drones, as well as more Zerglings. If you've got the Zergling advantage, even if you're down on Banelings, you can always kind of dictate where the fighting happens a little bit better, right? Because you've got more mobility. Like you can always kind of run past or run around Banelings and threaten and stuff. But GG, well played, man. Thanks for doing a little bit of analysis of the replay here. We can see the last little Baneling run over. Cool, man. So
yeah, sure. Was
thanks
fun.
for coming on. Appreciate it, mate. All right, I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I'll see you, man.
See you, bro. All right, guys. Thank you so much to Snute for coming on and doing a little post-match analysis there. Of course, this game's over. It's just, Rally Ling Bane versus lesser production, lesser economy. Banelings run in. We already watched all this. GG. We'll just kind of put that on 2 times speed. Watch the death throws here. Those Banelings didn't like life. They also didn't like queens, apparently. And the Zerglings run in. The last drones go down. And that, of course, was game number 3. GG. Cool. Well played. All right. Big props to Snute and everyone. Oh. Awesome. All right, guys. I really don't like streaming with so much lag. I hate it. I'm really sorry, guys. Apparently, there are other people streaming without crazy amounts of lag, so I'm going to open up someone else's stream and just take a look and see if it's dealing with the same issues. And if it's not, I'm just going to restart the stream really quickly before I hop on ladder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically jump straight into the Australian server, check that that's working again, and then see how that goes. So yeah, I'm watching some other streams. They don't really seem to be dealing with as many lag issues. From what I can see. So I think some of the servers are okay. Obviously, I can't stream to the EU server, unfortunately. So any of the EU servers, that's a bit of pain. Thank you, mate. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to restart very quickly. Then we're going to do some random GM ladder. I might do some cheesy Star-Lord play as well. So hang around, guys, and I'll see if I can do that. Thank you very much for hanging out. I'll be right back. Just sit there. F5, 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 F5. BRB. Settings, output, 4000, apply, video. Audio, output, stream, let's go to Sydney. Video.